True to its name, Madagascan vanilla is very much a cash crop these days. So much so that Patrick Rivo looks after his vanilla pods as he would precious stones, guarding them until the price rises even further. Over the last 3 years, it's tripled, fetching more than $600 a kilogram, and it remains high after a cyclone in March devastated crops. Patrick has been able to build his house with the extra money, but he still wants out, saying the price explosion has led to more crime like theft and even murder.
The traders have no scruples. I'm looking to quit this work because it's too hard. Everyone is dishonest, whether they are 20, 40, or 60 years old. Everyone lies.
The island of Madagascar is the biggest vanilla producer in the world, delivering 80% of global supply. According to the International Labour Organization, the sector employs 60,000 people, but it's also one of the worst exploiters of children, with nearly a third of the workforce between the ages of 12 and 17. Last year, the industry was valued at $650 million. That's 5% of the island's GDP, but little of that money trickles down to the pickers on the plantation. The drive to make more money, coupled with the fear of crime, has forced many producers to pick their vanilla pods too early, and that's hurt the quality.
Certainly, there are some who are in the industry solely for opportunism. Us, we want vanilla. It's getting harder and harder to justify it, because some people have been cheated. They have bought vanilla that was moldy and rotten.
Used in cakes, chocolates, and ice cream, vanilla is one of the world's great flavors. And sure, it's making money for farmers. But on the consumer end, some businesses are struggling. As the price of vanilla rises, some companies have opted for artificial vanilla flavoring to cut costs. The UK-based chain O'Donnell's recently pulled vanilla ice cream off its menu altogether. So whether you're looking at vanilla on a plantation or on a plate, there's no getting away from the fact that its sweet smell of success is, for some, leaving a bitter taste. Fidelis Mbah, TLT World.
TLT World Africa reporter Fidelis Mbah joins us now in studio. Fidelis, some worrying themes emerging from the story. There's the issue of criminal syndicates involved in the trade on the one hand, and then those companies selling vanilla grown in Madagascar, not knowing for certain whether it has been stolen or has involved child labor.
When you talk about criminal syndicates, they don't want to see themselves as that. They see themselves more as middlemen. They see themselves as intermediaries. Because when you refer to them as criminal, even though we know, because of the activities, they've actually been responsible for the problems because they're responsible for the use of child labor. They're responsible for the farmers not getting enough because these farmers, they suffer, they toil day and night to make sure that they have this vanilla, these beans ready. Some of them even have to sleep in their farms just to make sure that, it's protected. And then at the end, they still struggle with debts. They still struggle to feed, which is why, because they need cheaper labor to produce, they have to use their children and maybe get the other children as well. Because there's so much unemployment. Even if you go, I was in Antananarivo a few months ago, and you see able young men just idling away, just having a chat, looking for people who will even just give them something to survive. And these are people who are supposed to be doing well in the city. Then you talk about the rural areas where there's absolutely nothing for them to do.
We're going to get to the responsibilities of government in a moment, but in terms of international companies and their responsibilities that they have to ensure good practice is being followed when procuring their products, in this case vanilla, are they being held to account and are they taking that role seriously enough?
Unfortunately, the government has been paying more attention, to making sure that vanilla is grown. They have more export of vanilla, that the quality is good, so that they can also, because of the tax and because of the income that comes to government. As for the companies, the companies, to some extent, they pretend they don't know, but it's not possible because, I mean, if you're running a business, you should be able to know, the chain of, production. You should know how your products are being sourced. So they claim that they don't know that these farmers are impoverished, that these farmers all have to employ child labor to be able to, produce these products. But I don't think that is, acceptable. As for the getting them accountable, really, it's a bit tough because as the government is not paying so much attention. They're looking for money that will come from this business. So they're more interested in what comes to them in terms of the politicians and not really bothered about what kind of practices are put in place to be able to produce these, this vanilla that is being sold to supply, to big chains outside of the country.
TRT World Africa reporter Fidelis Mbah, thank you for coming on the show.